So here's where I'm at. I'm replacing the throttle cables because this isn't this is the puller. One day it'll focus, and you can see it's fraying right at the end. So there's going to come a time where I got to open the throttle and ping, it either stretches or gives away. And all I'm doing is removing the old throttle cables and just comparing them to the new ones. I got done over a seller with a picture of 2 throttle cables, sent me one, and when I complained, they said read the description, it's only one. And I paid the same money that you would pay normally for 2, so I've had to wait for this one to arrive. A couple of people have said, hey, why don't you just make your own cables? Well, you know, they've got bends in them and adjustments in them, and then plastic guides, so chances of me making new cables for £10.50 and £17.50 or something like that, it's easier just to buy them. Well, I knew I wouldn't be looking forward to this bit, which is routing the throttle cables, and I can't remember which way round everything goes, so yeah, I'm not sure whether they came over the top of the brake hose or under the bottom of the brake hose. This doesn't seem right under the bottom. And then how they route through this contraption, you can't know everything, can you? All right, bit of fabrication later, and this is looking a little bit more in keeping. Well, I'm not going to tell you I'm totally impressed, but I will be pulling this back apart because it doesn't seem to mesh properly, but I've got the 2 throttle cables in, they're going that way. Seems to have basic function. There's no springs or anything holding it. I know it's these 2. I'm so pleased I saved that clip, so I'm going to clip them together, feed them through. I'll work on the other end, just getting them between the coil packs and ready to pop out this side. So a little bit of routing. I've got my throttle cables here. I need to figure out which is the pull and which is the push. I have a choke cable, which is in acceptable condition, it's okay. And kind of pushing them that away. And then we'll see if I can attach them to the carbs. I'm sure the carbs are going to come in this way. That's going to be a problem. This gap's going to be a problem. Everything's a bloody problem. I might rubber lube these orifices gently and lovingly so that the possibility of the carbs just slotting in. Lovely. Crazy how a couple of days go by and I'm like, where are the carbs? I got them. This promises to be an absolute mind FCUK of a job, getting these carbs in there. It's going to be impossible, and then seeing if they hold fuel. I should have done a test earlier, but I didn't. And as you can see already, I'm gonna have problems. Change of plan. As I was about to install the carbs, as you do, you mess around with it, yeah? Silky smooth, get the way you, silky smooth, and then I went, hey, why aren't these lifting? Why are they jammed? All right, I can move them, but it's as if they're hitting something, and then I can move them up. As if I'm hitting something, and then I can move them up. Let's take these caps off and have a look, see what's going on here. Okay, cap off, spring out. There was a spring, there is a spring. Thought I'd lost it. And here we go, here's the problem. So it's real. What is causing that? So I've taken the needle out, and now everything's silky smooth. So it's to do with the needle. I think it's the way the needle is sitting. Let's pop that out. I'm just so glad that I'm catching these problems now. So I put it all back together and obviously smooth. Oh, it was smooth a minute ago, now it's catching again. Are you having a laugh? So I'm still working the problem, and that is the issue right there. Weird, isn't it? Careful with the diaphragm. Take the needle out of this equation, and everything's fine. Keep investigating. All right, so these little tubes here, which the needles go into, are called emulsion tubes. And that's the needle going into its emulsion tube. And if I had the slider and the diaphragm on right now, everything would be fine. The needle moves freely. However, when I tighten up this jet, and that's not too tight, that's just kind of like 2 Newton meters, the pin becomes frozen. And that was one of the problems. So the pin will not move. Therefore, the diaphragm can't move up and down. That's my problem to a T. Why is that happening? It's because the jet is bent. So because this jet is bent, oh, you can see it's pronounced, it's got a kink over to the right there. Because this jet is bent, when the needle, which passes through it, they just jam each other up. So my options are drill out that hole, find a way of making this less bent. What causes a jet to be bent? I don't think this jet was actually originally in this carb, because one of the stupid schoolboy mistakes I made was I kept everything apart from the jets, and I will be fafficating forever trying to figure out which one it used to be in. I put them in a pot together and then swished them around. So yeah, that is a bent jet, which is causing the pin, which as you can see will go all the way down through the emulsion tube. Everything's fine, but the moment I put this jet in, it just all twists up and doesn't work very well. This one's nicely freed up, this one's nicely freed up, this one's working beautifully. I've even swapped the needles around. Oh my gosh. Oh, the dodgy modification. These are 14 by 20 washers, and what I've done is, it's just such a stupid idea I had in my head, which was, since I can't get these affordably, I thought what I'd do is remove some of the thread so this doesn't sit up as high in the carb body, therefore it doesn't interfere with the needle. Yeah, but there's a downside to this, which is the this part sits lower in the fuel bowl. I don't know if that's going to have any kind of impact, whether I've used too many washers, but now we have a needle that is silky smooth because it's not being interfered with. How strange is that? Should I just take one washer off and not do 4, just do 3? Or do you think that that is too much, too little? What do you think? I'm going to take one off. Try and be kind to it. I hate cheat mode. I'd rather just be able to go on eBay and find a set of carbs, but these motorcycles are like rocking horse teeth. All right, so we've spaced it with 3 washers, which aren't impeding the float bowl. Nah, it didn't work. Look at that. Oh, sticky little sticker. It's got to be 4. Man, what an awful cheat this is. That is terrible. I wonder what actually happened, whether somebody tried pushing the emulsion tube down too far. Why would that impact on, why would that bend the, yeah? I mean, all I did when I took these out, and obviously it had that problem earlier, was put them in a thing with paraffin and, All right, well, we're spacing it with 4, and the, try and do this. There we go. We have a needle that's happy. Happy, happy, happy. I wonder if this being lower will do any kind of stupid nonsense. Where is its cap? There is its cap. It's not making any... it's not making me cry. If that fixes it, that'll be like champion. What a difference. That is a terrible fix. Don't copy me. Terrible. I think we're good. Are we happy? After all that faffery and the joy of... Oh, God. Somebody tell Dirty Garage Guy what Alex has done. He'd go mad. He would go mad. But look how smooth that is. Smooth. This one, actually, really quite smooth. I'm happy with that. All right, I'm going to quit for the night because I fancy a glass of wine. And I've been here for a couple of hours now and it is 4 degrees Celsius. That's pretty cold. And I shall resume this another time. To you lot, it will seem like a few seconds. But to me, 24 hours. I'm enjoying my wine. Thanks for watching so far.